Hey everybody, Vanessa here from Degania Aromatics. Thank you for joining me on another video. In this video, I am going to be doing an experiment in cold process soap making, looking at what yields the greatest number of bubbles or the best bubble. Will it be sugar or will it be shea butter surfactant, which was gifted to me by Simply Ingredients in California. In the comment section below, you will find a link to the Simply Ingredients website or web store. Also, if you are a subscriber to Baking Soap Magazine, in the September 2023 issue, I will do a complete write-up on the comparison of the shea butter surfactant and the sugar. So, with that being said, let's get started with our first experiment. In my crock pot here, I have my heated oils. Now, this is not going to be a hot process, so it's going to be a cold process. But what I do is that I use my crock pot to heat up my oils. The crock out. I have added my rosemary antioxidant, and it was 2 drops. So my temperature here is around about 108 degrees. So to my pot, I am going to add my sodium lactate. Give that a quick stir a second. Now I'm going to work with my lye. To work with my lye, I have here, inside this container, I have my distilled water. And I have my sugar. So remember, my experiment is looking at the bubbles as they are generated by sugar, and the bubbles as they are generated by the shea surfactant. So make sure this is really well dissolved. What I'm doing here, I'm going to add in some lye, and I am going to stir. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of the yogurt. Yogurt and my cucumber are melted. So what you do see here is just the fat. There's nothing left here. And I'm going to pour it in. Put it over my stick blender here real quick. The fat will dissipate. And I'm just going to do a few stirs to blend. And this goes into trace. This trace is really, really fast. So I am just going to keep stirring. Right now I'm going to whisk and keep whisking, because at this point there's no need to continue to use this stick blender. Oops, it's warm, of course. And I'm going to keep whisking and stirring until it's all together. And it doesn't look chunky. And I've used this recipe before. I was really surprised, but you know what? I had stirred it enough that I think I still can accomplish my my experiment. So now I'm just gonna put it in the molds and keep working with it. This one here. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take it, I'm going to cover it with some saran wrap. Right? And these soaps are hot. Next batch with the shea surfactant, I am not going to use my stick blender. Nor, I'll make sure everything is kind of really, really low in temperature. Because I'm not sure if that caused it. So what I'm going to do now, these are hot. I'm going to put them in the freezer. Not sure if that's going to help, but I'm hoping I was able to save my soap. As you can see from test batch 1, Soap making can get kind of messy, and I consider myself a messy soap maker. And let's get started with our second one and see what happens. I've never had this kind of problem, but things happen. I've been soaping almost pretty close to 10 years, and this is the first time I have encountered acceleration of ricing with no fragrance oil. So I'm still debating. Could it have been a yogurt? Could it have been the cucumber? Was it a temperature? I don't know. In my pot here, let's take a look. Since I know that the soap riced or accelerated, what I am going to try and make sure is that the temperature of the oils and the lye mixture is about the same. Now, what's very interesting, I don't know how the Shea surfactant is going to impact this. So this is an additional challenge for me. So this is what I'm using. It's from Simply Ingredients, and it's shea butter surfactant, which is supposed to give us more bubbles. And so I don't know how the shea surfactant is gonna play in this whole thing with the acceleration or the ricing. So we'll see what happens. A 140 degrees. It's really hot. My temperature on my lye mixture and on my oils are cooled down. 104 degrees, 102 degrees. That's a lot. That's pretty low. I'm not gonna stick blend this because I don't know how the shea butter surfactant is gonna react. And based upon what happened with the last batch, I just kind of want to be prepared for any unusual occurrences. I'm gonna take this slow, adding in my lye mixture, and I am whisking it. Stir this up a little bit. Adding in some more, and I'm whisking it. And I'm not using any fragrance oils in this. And the reason I'm not using fragrance oil in either one of them is because I did do a previous batch, and the fragrance oil rice. So originally, I thought it was the issue with the fragrance oil. So maybe for the last batch I did, for the first batch, maybe it was the fragrance oil. Maybe the last batch it was the temperature. Not sure. Oh, so here are my molds. So to distinguish the first batch from the second batch, I kind of tagged them. Got a little red dot here and a black tape there. Look at that. It's much nicer. So maybe the acceleration was coming from, maybe it was too hot. Maybe my lye mixture was too hot last time. I think that's a light trace. That's good enough for me. And my first one is done. Yeah, put this on the side and let's do a tap tap. Wow, that's nice. One. The next one, put it on top of here. I am finished with this segment for now. So what's going to happen next after 24 hours? We're going to come back, take a look at both of the soaps. I'm really curious on how the first batch is going to look since it had because of the acceleration. It is showtime. The soap was in the freezer for 24 hours. Then I let it stay in the refrigerator for another 10 to 12 hours. Now it's time to cut it and also to test the bubbles. So this is the first soap that I made. And remember, it went into that trace or rice. It went into a trace really, really fast. And I am now completely convinced that it was the difference between the heat of the oils and the heat of the lye or water mixture. So it comes out of here pretty nice. Comes out nice. So we do see some little holes here when I was trying to smash it in. It is what it is. And if you look really closely, you can see some green dots here and there. And that is coming from the cucumber. So let's see if we can cut. Hopefully they'll stay stable. And cut one. Okay, the outside is not beautiful, but the inside looks pretty good. So even though the soap got a little funky here and there, it so far so good. So I'm gonna cut this one up, and I will be right back with you. Now I am going to cut the second batch that I worked on, and this one, the top looks a little weird. Okay, this one has the shea butter surfactant in it. And I am going to, let me see if I want to lift this right here off. I'm going to lift my little dot off, put it over here, just so I can see it. It doesn't want to stay, I'll get a new one. So the first thing I do notice is that the top does look a little different, but it slips out of the mold easily. I do see this white space here. I'm not sure if that's from the surfactant or that's from the freezing process or the defrosting, not sure, but we will. But one of the things I will notice that one of the things I will mention is that because it did not go into that false trace, look how much smoother this one is than the other one. And cut this right here. These are a little smaller. This one is much nicer, as you can see. So far so good. The insides look really nice. I've cut up all my logs, and if we can make a comparison, just look at the top of a couple of these. Now this is the one I used to surfactant in, and this is the one that went into that false trace real fast. And as you can see, it has like that white coating. It's in my left hand, that white coating on top. And this one just overall, it looks okay. So so me fighting with the wet soap, well, it helped out a little bit. I'm still liking the color. I got it in the refrigerator in plenty of time, I think. I will know within the next few hours as this continues to defrost or get to room temperature to see how much change comes in the soap and if this white coating here remains. And then I will do my soap test. This is the soap that was made with the sugar. So let me just do a hand comparison. Let's look at the other soap. So as you can see here, I still have the white. Remember when I cut the soap, or when I cut the soap, I talked about the white area. We can still see it here. It's not bad, just a little bit slimy. Other than that, I can't complain. Here's our soap. Here's our soap with a Shea surfactant. So originally I was going to just conclude this test because the Shea butter surfactant did give us slightly bigger bubbles and a softer feeling soap, just a tad gentler than the sugar soap. I'm going to do one more test. I'm not going to take you through the whole thing, but what I'm going to do this time, again, I am going to use the exact same recipe. I'm going to follow the steps that I used for the Shea butter surfactant, but this time I am not going to put the soap in the freezer. So I am expecting that the color of the soap will be much darker because I have yogurt in there, and of course the milk is going to make it darker. And then we'll see like little dark pieces of fat, probably like maybe an orangey or a brown color. But what I'm hoping is that the reason this white coating exists is due to temperature, because the soap was in the freezer for about 24 hours, and then 12 hours or so in the refrigerator. So once I have made the soap, I will let you know, let you see the results of the cut. I'm not taking you through the whole thing. So I am back, and as I was previously stating, I made a second batch of the soap, the basic soap, with shea butter surfactant, but this time I did not put the soap in the freezer. So one of the things, or a couple of the things I noticed, after about 12 hours of the soap being in the mold, I decided to check it. And what I did discover is a greasy like film on top of the soap. It kind of reminded me of sometimes when you work with fragrance oils and then you have that little layer of fragrance on top. That's what it reminded me of. And so what I did was I uncovered my soap and just began to let it air dry for another 12 hours. And even after 12 hours, I'm still feeling a little bit of the greasiness, but not at the magnitude of when I first took the saran wrap off the soap. So it's coming out the mold easily, which I had anticipated. And if you can see, if you look here, you can still see some of that oiliness kind of at the top. So what I am suspecting is that because the soap was uncovered for 12 hours, the oiliness started dissipating. I am predicting that was going to happen too. But the soap has only been out of the mold for a total of 24 hours. So now I'm going to cut this, because what I want to do, I want to compare it. So this is the first batch I made, and as you can see, it still has that white film, still a little bit on the sticky side, but again, it's not caustic. It kind of reminds me of soda ash a little bit. And this is also the bar that when I did the soap testing, as you can see, just like with soda ash, there's no coating on top. I'm gonna cut this, and so we can see on the inside what it looks like. So as I compare this to the, actually it cuts nicer. This is the new bar with the surfactant, and I did not put this one in the refrigerator or the freezer. And this is the one that I put in. Now this one is already 5 days old, but when I look at it from a colors perspective, new one, old one, it's not a lot of difference, which is good. That makes me happy. So to really get a better gauge on this, what I am going to need to do is to let all the soap cure for 6 to 8 weeks. Once it cures, I'm going to come back again and take a look at, has anything changed with this one? Does the white go away? Does it remain the same? Does it still feel a little sticky? Or does this wipe, if you put your finger, it wipes off right now? Or with this one, does the oily feeling dissipate? The one thing that I do know already, and the purpose of this experiment was to test the bubbles. Right now, just from a general feeling, the bubbles created by the shea butter surfactant, I felt were a little bit bigger, and the soap felt just a little bit gentler. That's my personal opinion. But as a maker or a creator, what I would do is encourage you, get yourself a small container of the shea butter surfactant and test it for yourself. Or if you want, wait until my next video, which will show the soap after a 6 to 8 week cure, and then make a judgment call for yourself. This is Vanessa here from Degania Aromatics, natural products for the 3 dimensions of you. Thank you for watching. Before you leave, please like and subscribe and comment. I would love to hear from you. Until my next video, be abundantly blessed. Bye-bye for now.